I think by naming the cell blocks after letters, but not using the International Phonetic Alphabet, they really missed the opportunity for, if the birdcage is big enough, to have cell block tango.
Welcome to Inchworm,
the podcast in which we're inching through Worm. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Ted.
We read Interlude 6.
Yeah.
The Birdcage interlude.
Yeah, it's a Canary interlude, and then it's a Secret
Canary
Loon interlude.
In a Birdcage. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Well, my predictions were completely wrong.
That's true. Yeah, not a traveler in sight.
Not a traveler. Not even the wards, which was my non-prediction.
Yeah. But more of these two super fun characters, Bakuda and Loon.
I did enjoy seeing them again. It was also a very distressing interlude in terms of quote-unquote justice against capes or against parahumans.
Yes.
Really disturbing. And hopefully
Canary.
A theme that's going to come back.
Right.
Poor Canary. Yeah, speaking of which, do you want to tell us what happened in this?
Oh, that's right. We can't just start talking about it.
We can't just start talking.
We have to tell people what happened.
Otherwise, how will they know?
How will they know? So we are at the start in the perspective of Paige, aka Canary. She is a parahuman rogue, a new designation we learn about. The path you can take if you don't want to be a hero, you don't want to be a villain, you're sort of conflict averse and you use your power for other things. And she is someone who all of her hair is canary yellow. She's growing feathers, and her ability lets her sing. And while under the influence of her song, people follow her commands, is kind of what her power set is. We don't really see it in action, but we do learn a little bit about a particular incident, which I'll circle back to later, that has her on trial. So we start the chapter with Canary on trial, and she is trussed up like Hannibal Lecter. The court, probably because maybe her lawyers didn't do a great job, has made it so that she's completely bound just in case she has any latent strength abilities they don't know about. Her tongue is literally tied down, so there's no chance that she could use her power to get out of the situation. And we are with her in the moment as she receives a verdict from the jury. She is not found guilty of attempted murder, but she is found guilty of aggravated assault with a parahuman ability and sexual assault with a parahuman ability. And she reacts like, oh my God, how could this happen? That's so unfair. But she's unable to speak out and testify in her defense. And the judge immediately moves on to sentencing, mentions the 3 Strikes Act and how Canary, this is her first offense. But given what the justice system is designed to do, which is to remove dangerous individuals from the population and to punish people for justice and to deter other perpetrators, and because her power is such that it would be so difficult for them to truly protect people from it, it would require such extenuating circumstances that there is grounds for sentencing her outside the scope of the 3 strikes rule, sending her straight to the Bauman Parahuman Containment Center, aka the Birdcage. She is terrified. She's stricken. She's like, I'm going to spend the rest of my life in the company of monsters. And some people in there are literally monsters. And they tranquilize her. And she wakes up in a PRT van heading to the Birdcage. She has been completely covered in containment foam. Her neck has a tranquilizer device that she knows is going to knock her out if she tries to sing or raise her voice. And she has a mask, again, with this metal grill on it to keep her muzzled. And she realizes she's not alone in the van. She's with a man and a woman who we quickly find out are Loon and Bakuda, also being taken to the Birdcage. Loon is constantly being doused in water. He has a lot of containment foam on him, and he's in an iron cage. Bakuda is also completely encased in containment foam. Only her head is free. But she threatens Canary with death unless Canary helps her with something. And Bakuda, using the ability to kind of like throw each other around in their seats, Bakuda is able to grab parts of Canary's mask with her teeth and peel away little metal strips and leather strips from the grill, one piece at a time. She starts to assemble a contraption. Again, using her teeth, she sticks the metal straight into her shoulder in order to create a little platform to support other pieces. She gets Loong really angry so that he can use his pyrokinesis to superheat the ends of the metal so she can bend them even further. And she ends up building a very elaborate screwdriver, which allows her to piece by piece take apart Canary's collar and hatch an escape plan. Meanwhile, they're chatting. Bakuda wants to know, hey, Canary, what's your deal? Canary talks a little bit about her power and then talks about the incident that got her into the Birdcage, where, you know, her career was really taking off as a singer, and this awful ex shows up and tries to convince her that he deserves some of her earnings, even though there's no justification for that. And she tells him to go fuck himself and storms off. And it's not until the police show up later that she realizes, oh, he was at the concert. He'd been listening to me. And she was either being careless or she just didn't know that he was under the effect of her power. And he took her literally and did something to himself that is quite awful and up to our imaginations as to how he interpreted that literally. And we know from the charges that what he did to himself was really, really bad. And in the process of, you know, talking through this, she finally gets to sort of talk about how unfair it all was with her audience of Loong and Bakuda. She also hears a little bit from Bakuda about what Bakuda had been up to. Bakuda brags about the bombs that she's been making and bragging about killing so many people. Classic Bakuda stuff. And Bakuda's been disassembling Paige's collar. Paige takes a little nap during the final assembly, but basically Bakuda lays out the plan. She has created a bomb using only her mouth that will have a tranquilizing effect on the guards that open the van when they get to the Birdcage. And because Paige's collar is off, basically the plan is the doors open, the bomb goes out, Paige starts singing, and they're going to bust out of there. And the text says it might have worked if there was anyone around to hear her. When they arrive at the Birdcage, giant metal claws open the doors and pick them out one by one. They find themselves in a warehouse-like space that is so large they can't even see the walls to either side of them in any direction. And they are brought before a giant monitor screen, which turns on, revealing Dragon, the tinker, creator of the Birdcage. And
not a serial killer.
Prison warden. Yes. Well, I mean, considering what happens in the Birdcage, we'll see.
Interesting point.
And Dragon starts doing intake. It becomes clear that they have a really strong understanding of the three prisoners' abilities and what containment protocols would be required for transportation and sort of what their risk of escaping the Birdcage ever is. It seems clear that letting Bakuda get close to people was a huge oversight in the way that they packed them all into the same van. But because Canary can influence people with her voice, there were never going to be any guards at the destination, at the intake facility, for her to potentially control. So Bakuda's plan was futile. It was kind of over before this scene started. And, Bakuda has some, reluctant respect for Dragon because of just how cool the tinkering that she's done is. Dragon talks a little bit just to kind of make a point at how, you shouldn't even bother trying to escape, the measures in place to protect the Birdcage, which we can go into. And then she sort of says, hey, Canary, I don't think you deserve to be here. I even wrote a letter in your name, but it wasn't enough, and I got to do my job, which means, you've been sentenced, you're going in the Birdcage. But she does also kind of say, but hey, I'm assigning you to a cell block, and here's how you can navigate that social situation a little bit. And Dragon goes on to talk a little bit more about what it's like inside the Birdcage. Basically, she keeps people fed, but otherwise the inmates run the asylum, so to speak. They have to police and protect themselves, and the overall objective is there's no way out, so don't even try. The elevators go down. It's a one-way trip. If you try to break the elevators, you'll die. And Dragon wishes Paige luck, and for the rest of the chapter, we segue to Loong's point of view. Mm-hmm. Loong is walking to the hole in the wall, splitting the men's and women's halves of the birdcage. And he talks to the guards there and is like, hey, I'm coming from my cell block. I brought some cigarettes to, pay the guards here. And I'm just going to go see one of my subordinates. And he goes to find Bakuda in her cell. Bakuda's loving it in the birdcage. Being so close to Dragon's Tinker Tech is really cool. And she's figuring stuff out about it. She's been fixing the TVs to kind of make her way in birdcage society. And she's like, what's up, Loong? How's it going? And he's like, fine. Let me tell you about what I know about being in prison. Basically, you can join a gang, which I don't want to do because I like being in charge. You could also be somebody's bitch, which I also don't want to do for basically the same reason. And the other ways to get by, you could kill someone to prove your dominance, or you could be seen to be totally crazy. And Bakuda's like, okay, so what are you going to do? And he's like, I'm going to do both of those things by killing you. And he says, you've insulted me. It's crazy for me to kill my own subordinate. And so I think people will respect that and think that I'm scary and unpredictable. And overall, you failed me. You failed me on the way here. You failed me before. And Bakuda says, look, I'm going to blow up the wall, which means the whole cell that we're in will collapse if you try anything. And he says, you're not fast enough. She says, want to bet? And the last line is, he did. That's where we leave things.
I'm so fascinated whether just Bakuda died or they both died.
Yeah.
Which could be very relevant later when there's an inevitable heist to break into the birdcage. I will be so disappointed if they don't do that.
Yeah.
Now that we've learned about all the tech and we have someone that we care about rescuing already, obviously when they break in, eventually they're going to have to free Canary.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
I hope we don't never see Canary again. I feel so invested.
Yeah. A lot of reactions to that. I mean, yeah, it's such a move to introduce something like the birdcage. It kind of had this reputation already, but when it lays out how inescapable it is and all of the cool technology.
You have to break in.
Yeah, you're just something's got to go. You got to break in, you got to break out. Something's going to go on here. It's
Chekhov's inescapable prison.
Exactly.
You have to.
It's so satisfying. And I'm glad you feel that way about Canary, because one of the sad things about her is how alone she is.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, hopefully she'll make some friends.
But the perils of being a rogue in this world, right? She's a solo operator. She messes up once, and this is where it gets her.
I am furious about the way the justice system is portrayed here.
You say justice system, it's really the carceral system is what we're getting a close look at here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this in our world too. There are all these things this is the age you're tried as an adult, but this crime is so bad, we're going to try this kid as an adult. No, the guidelines are for the fact that kids aren't the same as adults. And in this case, the 3 strikes rule, they're no, but for reasons, we're going to ignore it. You're no, that's why it exists. This judge had a lot of latitude.
Yeah.
You can tell, maybe the jury was right to convict. I don't know the laws. Maybe technically she was guilty. But it's so clear that this was an accident. The 3 strike system is designed, presumably, because stuff like this can happen, and this is the kind of incident that would have led to her learning and being really careful never to do it again. So the fact that the judge was no, we're putting you away for life. People don't even get put away for life for intended sexual assault in our world. We were just listening to our friend Erica has a podcast called The Turning, where there's this whole thing about this cult leader who was raping teenage girls for years, and he's going to end up serving 16 years in prison.
Yeah.
Like, it is completely ludicrous to say, like, oh, you inadvertently sexually assaulted someone. I guess you can't prove that it was inadvertent. She didn't get to testify. But, like, therefore, we're going to put you away for life in this, like, maximum security, inescapable prison. And it really just speaks to, like, fear and prejudice against parahumans.
Yeah.
Like, she is one of the least combative parahumans we've seen. And not to say she's not dangerous, because, I mean, she can influence people, clearly, but, like, she has chosen this life that has nothing to do with the cops and robbers game, with hurting people or crime or anything. And the judge is like, no, this is a case for ignoring the 3 strikes rule. Like, that is
well,
ludicrous.
it's the judge's demeanor is so matter of fact, professional, just like, hey, I'm calling the balls and strikes, and, you know, like, sort of, it went this way and you got unlucky. But of course, there's so much that we don't know, like you were saying, about exactly how we got here. But I do have some thoughts. One is just, it was very telling to me that in his little speech, where he probably knows already she's going to the birdcage, when he talks about the point of the carceral system, he doesn't mention rehabilitation. He talks about deterrence.
Well, no.
He talks about getting people off the street, you know, but he's
and
like...
punishment, yeah.
He talks about punishment, right? He does not mention that as a possibility at all. And that does seem like it is kind of inherent to the 3 strikes idea, right? It's like, well, you know, if you did it once, you know, maybe you can learn from that, right? I think it could be that he's more ideologically inclined that way. It could be because he knows she's going to the birdcage, he's obviously not going to talk about...
Right, there's no point of rehabilitation.
Yeah. Right. I've heard the saying about Supreme Court cases and other things, like, hard cases make bad law. So there's an element here of when the verdict is called, there's, like, the flashes of cameras. There's the fact that she's kind of like a parahuman up-and-coming pop star. Mm-hmm. I imagine it's kind of like there's a lot of media attention. There's a celebrity angle. And the lurid nature of what happened is probably all over the tabloids, right? So, and it's one of those things where, you know, presumably there are some commonalities between these different types of incidents, but, like, Canary is the only canary out there. She's kind of a one-of-a-kind thing. So, like, it's really hard for me to imagine, like, well, how do you come up with the general rules about people who can do stuff like this?
Right.
On the one hand, if you look at who she is, of course she's no monster. I mean, we're in her head. Of course, we're not going to think that, right? But, like, it does seem to me, the way she talks about her power later, like, her influence is not so direct that she knows when it's active. That seems plausible to me. So, like, maybe it's negligence, maybe not. It's really hard to tell.
Right. Like, I could definitely see an argument for, like, some kind of sentence. Life in the birdcage is ridiculous.
Yeah. Right. So then, like what you were saying, the sort of prejudice against parahumans, right? Like,
and he mentions, like, we want to encourage rogues as more and more parahumans appear in our society. I'd be willing to go out on a limb and say he's someone who thinks more and more parahumans appearing in our society is a problem, and the ideal solution is to put as many of them as possible away in this society, this sort of enclosed world where they can't harm the rest of us. Like, if he could send them all to Mars, he probably would.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So what it says to me is there's a strong sense in the culture that the only way people feel safe around parahumans is the, like, total physical control or banishment, right? You see her being completely restrained, and then you see her being sent to the birdcage. And it reminds me a little bit of the security theater theme during Bakuda's bombing campaign when they're at the mall.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, people just want to feel safe.
People want to feel safe. They don't need to be safe.
Like, putting her in this harness doesn't do anything to make them safer, because her power is in her voice.
Right. The other thought I had is the way in which Canary is a little bit a victim of her power, right? Like, it doesn't really map onto the real world legal system, but, like, if you're a boxer or you have martial arts training, you could be much more likely to be charged with aggravated assault than assault, because there are expectations around your behavior. I think that is the difference between assault and aggravated assault. Okay, I am not a lawyer. I am not a
legal expert in any way.
Criminology expert in any way. So who knows? But to some extent, it's the same thing that I feel like we've talked about a couple of times. It's like, if your power is doing this, like you don't really have a say in what your ability is. And so like the fact that it would be incredibly expensive to have Canary under house arrest in a way that provided quote unquote enough safety. Like it's really unfair, but at kind of like a cosmic scale. It's like, it's like, you know, everybody has these unique and sometimes incredibly powerful abilities, and sometimes in ways you don't even know or anticipate.
Right, but because it's too expensive to imprison her, we have to punish her more harshly than otherwise.
Yeah. But it's like, we've talked about Taylor's power being a loaded weapon, like bringing a weapon to school. There is a kind of thing with parahumans that anybody in society could have a concealed weapon of incredibly powerful proportions. And the culture seems to be, at least in this case, full of fear and anxiety about that.
I mean, it makes sense. It is very unfair that most people don't have a power, but some people have this incredible power. But the masses, in their fear, or at least the legal system as seen here, is sort of trying to counteract that injustice with a different kind of injustice. Right.
And like, yeah, it's reasonable if you go through like metal detectors and you're in a public place, like you have a sort of expectation of safety. Not the case in this world, right? Because of what people can do.
Right, yeah. I wonder if like metal detectors and stuff are even still... I mean, I guess it's probably still effective security theater to some extent.
Yeah. And there's a lot that we don't, there's a lot that we don't know about the logistics of how society has changed. And it's unclear. It's really like nice to get a view into this part of society, right?
That's true.
Like I feel like it hasn't been developed and it's been easy to kind of speculate, but like now we get some really clear examples and like it's pretty grim.
You know, it would be fun. Obviously, we couldn't do this until we'd read all of the things set in this world. And I doubt we'll do this anyway. But it would be fun to have like a mock like criminology podcast in which we discuss each week a certain case of like prosecution against a parahuman.
I love that. Well, wasn't that one of the Marvel TV shows was like She-Hulk Attorney at Law recently?
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah,
that's very
I feel
fun.
like a legal procedural with superheroes would be incredibly satisfying.
That would be great. So I felt so much for Canary in this. Like, you get the sense at the beginning, you're like, okay, it seems like she doesn't think she actually deserves to have this happen to her. And then when you find out what happened, you're like, oh yeah, this is not proportional. This is not the right thing to happen. And I was just, because I was so invested in her, we get her in this truck with Bakuda and Loong who are trying to escape. But like, I wanted Canary to escape so badly that it resulted in me rooting for Bakuda and Loong escaping, which otherwise I would never have rooted for.
Absolutely.
It's such a good trick. I feel like Wildbow is just displaying such mastery of like manipulating our allegiances to suit the story.
Yes.
Because I was like, yeah, do it, Bakuda, get out. And of course, if she and Loong did get out, they'd be coming for Taylor. It'd be really bad. And in the broader scope of the story, I don't want that, but... Yeah,
the writing in this chapter is so good. There's so much tension. You don't really get what Bakuda's doing until suddenly you get it.
And you're like, she's doing something,
whoa.
And she's got cool abilities, so it's gonna be cool, but...
Yeah. And then just the bit where the doors open, and it's like, well, it would have worked, but nobody's here. And then a metal claw comes in, and you're like, what?
God. I thought there was another, like, villain rescuing them or something.
Yeah. And
turns out no.
The bit at the end, the, like... Loong's little monologue and his delivery of like, oh yeah, well, I'm here to kill you. Like that little twist, also so satisfying, so tense.
I gasped audibly and Ted was like, which line? I was like, the one about how you failed me.
Yeah, it's really good stuff.
When it becomes clear that Loong is there to kill her.
Yeah. I do love the narrative economy also of like, Canary is our point of view. It brings so much rather than having it be a Loong chapter or a Bakuda chapter. Mm-hmm. She's also the one that gives them a chance to escape. Like, she's the one who accidentally is placed too close to Bakuda.
Right.
But she's also the reason the escape fails because of the rule about people can't be there to receive them.
Oh,
right? It's like, It's so fun.
I didn't think of that there might have been people to receive Bakuda and Loong. Or maybe not. But...
Yeah, or maybe not. It kind of seems like Dragon's got it under control, just Dragon.
Yeah, if you've got that tech, why not just use it every time?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, maybe she's busy. I don't know. She was on the monitor, but who knows?
This seems to be her job, but
yeah.
I guess how often do new prisoners get taken in?
Yeah. Oh, it's really good. I mean, yeah. Is there more that you want to say about, like, Canary?
I just hope we see her again. I really want the Undersiders to rescue her from prison as part of them rescuing someone else, presumably. Yeah.
What do you think of her power?
Oh, it's cool. But it is very dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, if she's singing these concerts, like, I wonder if she has, like, vetted her programs to be like, okay, what am I... Like, I'm making people feel some kind of way. Is there a chance she'll give any of them instructions?
Yeah.
Like, I remember, I think it's Stephen King's Firestarter, great book, but one of the characters has, like, a slight, like, influence power. He can, like, push people a little bit, but sometimes if he pushes them a little bit wrong and, like, bumps up against something dangerous in their, psyche, that it can set up some sort of echo effect and they sort of lose their minds. Ooh, and I do wonder, like, I guess I don't know exactly what happens when she sings, but I wouldn't be surprised if people had already been nervous about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if there's, like, controversy about her rise in
the
pop world.
Yeah, it's a power that if she were suddenly interested in, like, being a revolutionary or something,
my god,
like, that's such a different affect than being a pop star.
She would have she'd be so good at that. I guess she doesn't feel a revolution is needed, but if she had, like...
Yeah, or maybe she does now.
Well, good point. Ooh, I wonder if she'll, like, get... That would be so cool. It doesn't seem like she has that kind of personality, but if she did want to, like, get the prisoners to rise up or something...
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I mean, right, it's an interesting... Well, that just makes me wonder, like, will she be seen as a threat in the Birdcage? Because of how powerful she is. I guess everyone there is
very powerful. So. I also, like, you know how pop stars will endorse presidential candidates in our world? This is someone whose endorsement you really want.
Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, right. She could have been a huge national, maybe international figure.
I bet her power doesn't work... like when it's recorded and stuff. Like, I bet you have to... Like, I bet she has to speak to the crowds.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I love the idea of, like, that ability of a charismatic figure to alter the mood, to change the energy in a room. Like, this is that, but raised to a superpower. So cool.
Yes, it's very cool. And I love her aesthetic, too. The canary yellow hair and the feathers. It's just like, it's awesome.
I was right about what her power was. I mean, I wasn't very specific, but...
Yeah.
It's also just like, I wonder if she was chosen because it's ironic to send her to the Birdcage. Like, I wonder if Wildbow was like, well, I should probably send a bird. How about this?
Yeah. No, that's very funny.
Yeah.
Did you, just talking about her power, did you catch the new power designations that we learned later in the chapter?
I was a little bit distracted.
Canary, even though IRL, she's an influencer, the type of power is called master.
Oh, yeah, you had me come up with, like, brute, blaster.
So that's Loon.
Right.
He's a brute and a blaster. What do you make of that?
Yeah, that's fun that it's two different categories. So brute, I guess, is sort of the enhanced physicality. Yeah. Like, I mean, bitch is sort of a vicarious brute. Like, if her dogs had the power, they would be brutes, presumably.
Right. I
don't know what she would be, but I guess Taylor would be a master.
Yeah.
And then blaster is sort of the fire and heat. Yeah, I guess various weapons that come out of your body. I guess Gregor the Snail is a blaster, and so is Spitfire. Yeah. Gregor the Snail is other things as well, but Spitfire is, like, only a blaster, I think. Yeah. Well, actually, is Canary a blaster? Because I was going to say maybe Triumph is, because, like, he has sort of the sound weapon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, these are Canary... Bakuda and Loon seem very straightforward in terms of the classification, which is helpful as we're just learning what these words are. But I would imagine I'm sure there's more than 4 categories and there are other ways to, slice and dice them.
Because, like, Tattletale's not any of these.
Yeah.
Gru's not any of these.
Yeah.
I guess Gru, you could argue, is a blaster, but it's not really a weaponized darkness. Yeah, it doesn't feel the same.
I can't imagine Gru being like, here I go, blasting, and then making, Not that needs to be the threshold for what blasters are.
Right, but it's not really a blast of anything.
Yeah.
It's like an environmental effect. And, someone like Shadowstalker, like, isn't any of these things.
Yeah.
She's a wisp.
A wisp.
Wisp seems too specific, but yeah.
should we maybe talk about either the birdcage or dragon? Because we can end with Bakuda and Lung again.
Yeah. Let's talk about the birdcage and dragon.
Can I read the description of the birdcage? Like, we learn a lot of details, but just the main one. It is amazing. The Bauman Detention Center. I can't do... We learned that dragon has a Newfoundland accent. I'm not going to try.
It's all right.
The Bauman Detention Center is a structure so complex I had to design an artificial intelligence to put it together. It's situated inside of a hollowed-out mountain, the walls of which are lined with layers of a ceramic of my own design, each such layer separated by volumes of dormant containment foam. If you punched a hole in the outside of the mountain, you'd only wind up with more foam than you knew how to handle. That's the mountain. The prison itself is nicknamed the Birdcage because it is suspended in the center of the empty mountain, hanging only by the same network of tubes that supplies prisoners and food to the cell blocks. Both the interior of the tubes and the interior of the mountain itself are vacuums. Even if an individual were to have powers allowing them to navigate the vacuum, I have 3,000 anti-grav drones in position at any given time, laying dormant in that lightless void, waiting for any signal, motion, energy, or air leakage to awaken them. Once awakened, a drone will move to the location of said anomaly and detonate. Many of my drones contain a loadout of containment foam, but others contain payloads designed to counteract various methods one could theoretically use to traverse the vacuum. Some are quite lethal. These are not the only measures I have taken. And she goes on.
Yeah, wow. First of all...
Incredible bucket technology.
Not a bucket.
Yeah.
Sadly, they don't just freeze you in time and throw you into a bucket. Second of all, I want to see Tattletale analyze this mountain.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, she's going to be able to figure out so much about it.
That's sort of how I was feeling with Bakuda at the end. Just like, I love her, like, love of science and technology is like the only redeemable thing about her. The way she's like, actually, the birdcage is cool. And like, I figured out all this stuff. How like, if you punch a hole in the wall, you know, that cell's destroyed, but the other ones move around.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's such a wasted opportunity, Lung's thing, because like he could have gotten her to help him figure out how to escape.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we also learn about the birdcage, though, like, escape chances are non-zero but very low.
Right.
It's like
right.
0.0006, you know, chance or something like that.
0.0006.
Yeah. And there's a bit of like, you know, with Bakuda's case, if somebody were to introduce contraband, suddenly her chance of escape goes way, 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 way up.
Yes.
But, you know, for the most part, it's all uniformly very, very low. And the individualized countermeasures in transporting them here also makes it clear, like, I don't know, the lengths you have to go to disarm, contain, control parahumans are so ludicrously extreme.
Well, it was so fascinating to get introduced to the character of Dragon this way. Like, clearly she has devoted her life to containing otherwise uncontainable supervillains. But she does not share the judge's attitude towards Canary. She doesn't think that capes are this inherently dangerous thing and we should just lock up as many of them as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm projecting onto the judge. But yeah, she...
Well, she is a tinker.
Yes, she's a cape herself and doesn't seem to have that fear. But she does still want to solve the problem of like, oh, when some people get this level of power, they choose to do bad things with it. How do we stop them?
Yeah. So what vibe did you get off of her?
I like her. I think she's really reasonable.
Yeah.
She does her job well and has mercy where she can. Yeah. She seems like a good person.
I feel like she seemed really nice. I especially, like, it's easy to seem nice, but especially that she's coaching Canary a little bit. Yeah. It's tough for me to imagine that she does that for...
Oh, no. She didn't do that to Lung and Bakuda. They didn't deserve it. Yeah.
There's definitely a little bit of, like, she's a cop, you know, like, a little suspicious. But, you know, maybe all the heroes are to some extent, as we've discussed.
They are.
So, at least the ones that don't end up like Canary.
Right. The rogues are not cops. Yeah.
But yeah, she seems nice. Yeah.
But like, it's such a tempting target, this birdcage. We've seen on a much smaller scale, the Undersiders use the containment foam for their own ends. And I want to see them come up with a plan as clever as the one they used to attack the gala, but like times 1,000, times 1,000,000, whatever it is, to take down the birdcage. And like, I will be sad to see dragons work undone, but I'm sure she'll just surpass herself in the next effort. And it would just be such a fun heist. Oh.
Yeah.
And I've seen enough of Wildbow's writing now to know what a good job he would do with that heist.
Yeah.
It would be so satisfying. So possibly he won't give us that, and we'll get other things that are just as good or better, but that's what I want.
Now, to be clear, are you talking about a limited heist, or are you talking about destroying the Birdcage? Because those are pretty different.
No, you're correct.
Consequences. I'm just curious which one you're excited about.
I mean, either one.
Yeah.
It depends on the goals the Undersiders have at the time.
Yeah.
I think probably more likely would be a limited heist, because why would they want to free every criminal supervillain who's been incarcerated for life? Like, that seems like, kicking a can of worms.
Well, but if you can free Canary, who cares if you let Loong and 1,000 other dangerous parahumans go? If Loong's even alive. I mean,
what is it? Better 1,000 guilty men walk free than one innocent?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I mean,
innocent, quote unquote, right.
Right. I think the Undersiders are more likely to have a specific goal of freeing someone specific, rather than just like, we don't like the Birdcage, let's destroy it.
Yeah, it's just fun to imagine some unintended consequences.
I could also see them going in to free someone specific and then destroying the whole Birdcage. So
Yeah.
They would probably have to partner with a tinker.
Interesting.
Maybe not. I mean, Tattletale's really smart, but she's not a tinker. She's not a technology wizard.
Yeah. Well, one thing, just as a hypothetical, it's really interesting. Oni Lee gets mentioned as like, well, is he going to help us?
Yeah.
No. Like, unclear if won't, can't, like what the deal is there. But I am really curious what the protocols would be for him.
Right.
Given what his power is.
Right. Like, that's kind of why I assumed they had to be, like, time-touched and put in a bucket. Because, yeah, how do you contain a teleporter in any kind of physical prison? Like, is it just that there are no known teleporters who can travel farther than the distance between the interior of the Birdcage and the external walls?
Right.
Is there some sort of tinker tech? Armsmaster had psychic shielding. Is there, like, kind of like how you can't apparate on the grounds of Hogwarts, like some sort of, like, teleportation shield.
Can't teleport out of the Birdcage rule.
Yeah, exactly. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Dragon seems skilled.
Yeah.
Probably would have thought of that stuff.
Yeah.
It was cool. I remember we heard about the Dragon Slayers in passing, and to learn that they are a team of mercenaries that makes do with a single discarded suit of dragons. And every time she goes into combat, which I guess she does sometimes, in addition to this job of putting people into the Birdcage, every time she goes into combat, she wears a different suit. She's just like constantly inventing, which sounds like such a satisfying life. Just like constantly making different stuff, just like being incredibly productive and creative.
Yeah.
I want to do it. I want that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Why speculate about what parahuman ability he would have when you could just want to be dragon?
I don't want to be dragon specifically, but I want to be that creative and productive.
Yeah.
And prolific.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's not inside the context of being a tinker.
I mean, I wouldn't dislike that. That does sound really cool.
Yeah. Oh, well, should we finally get to our pair of doomed besties? Loong and Bakuda? I just loved their banter. I guess this is more personality than we've seen from Loong before.
That's
in
true,
this chapter.
because we really hadn't seen. Yeah.
He's funny. He's like, he's very short sentences, very direct, and has absolutely, very dry, no tolerance at all for Bakuda's like manic, annoying bullshit. It's so fun.
He took her on. He chose her as a protege. Yeah, I feel like we've already seen most of what we see from Bakuda, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What she does with the mask pieces, like holding the like hot metal in her teeth, like it's just a degree past what we've seen from her in terms of her using her own physicality to do things.
Yeah, just being able to scavenge a bomb out of that constrained environment is
using
miraculous.
Only her mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't really get into it in the summary. Like, it's really viscerally horrifying, the descriptions of what she does to herself, her teeth, her lips.
Yeah, she, like, stabs herself with the pieces of metal and is like, let's keep moving before my body realizes how hurt it is.
Yeah, it's It's wild.
And then I was delighted at the end when she was so happy to be in the birdcage.
I know, yeah. Her cell is
she's found her
covered
joy.
in wall scribbles, beautiful mind style.
Yes.
And she's just, loving all of the analysis. Yeah. Yeah. Her glass jaw or her ego and psychopathy comes through when she's talking to Canary. Mm-hmm. There's this bit of Canary's I don't get, this is dumb.
It's you're not going to be able to do anything with this. And Bakuda's how dare you? I will kill you if you say anything like that again. Canary didn't even know her power.
Even if you got 5 degrees, you wouldn't be able to reach my level of understanding of catalysts at a microscopic level, right? She really gets into it. I love it. Strong showing from Bakuda, personality-wise. The other thing that she does, right? So the bomb that she creates is going to have a tranquilizing effect after she disabled Canary's tranquilizing collar. Mm-hmm. And she talks about her super bomb that was going to be an EMP so effective it knocked out half of the United States' computers and stuff. And she also mentions a time freezing bomb that sort of people getting stuck for 100 years or something.
Oh, we did see that, I think, or something like it.
Yeah. But what that was making me think of was the thing that she said, I sampled Vista's power. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And whether or not...
Did she sample Clock Blocker's
Clock
power?
Blocker
Yeah.
or the EMP thing. We saw Armsmaster use an EMP weapon on his halberd recently.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested in that Tinkers, if they get access in some way to a power-like effect or technology, being able to repurpose that.
Or maybe that's something specific to Bakuda and
or
we'll
maybe
never
that's
see it
something
again because
specific to Bakuda.
One way or the other, I think she's probably dead.
Yes. Well... Just on that point, though, Armsmaster used some Kid Win technology earlier in this arc. So we have seen him use another... I guess that's another Tinker's power.
Tech. Yeah, another Tinker's tech.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you... I feel like there are a couple more beats to hit, but the ending, who won? What happened? You think Bakuda's dead either way?
Well, either she wasn't fast enough and Loon killed her, or she was fast enough and she killed both of them.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if she were the main character. I'm sure there would be a third way where she doesn't die. And, we haven't seen her dead, so dies off screen. You never know. She could come back.
Yeah.
But she is almost definitely dead.
Yeah.
And Loon is, I think it's kind of 50-50.
Yeah. You want to see Canary again? Do you want to see Loon again?
I feel like it would be a shame if there's no one to carve out Taylor's eyes. To be clear, I don't want that to happen, but it's such a good, unfinished, story beat. It's such a good, loose thread.
And it's a three-peat, right? He's lost to her twice. Right. They gotta go up again. At least once, right? You gotta get that rule of threes in there.
Yeah. And it seems like he's already healing very quickly.
Yeah, we do get some confirmation, right? His eyes are back, but he can't see color yet. Is what he said. One thing, Loon's obviously a really bad guy.
Oh my gosh.
I did appreciate the confirmation that his Pan-Asian obsession...
Oh yeah, it's rooted in something.
He says he's half Chinese, half Japanese.
So he couldn't join any gangs in prison because none of them would accept him. And he's I'm going to make an inclusive gang.
We've talked a lot about how trauma influences people and trigger events and stuff. Loon's obviously a bad dude, but it is kind of nice to have grounded this weird thing in a personal detail.
Yeah. He's a bad guy, but he is... I would say not a madman, despite the fact he's very clinically choosing to appear as a madman.
That actually is.
He was very polite to the guards. He's this is smart. He seems to be someone who's very clear thinking and rationally motivated.
Yeah.
Almost unlike Bakuda. Bakuda's a little bit more manic, a little more unhinged.
Yeah. We sort of saw she did terribly being in charge.
Yes. No, that is true.
I guess
she was just
unclear how
pretending
much
to be in
Loon was in charge.
Yeah.
Right. That whole time.
Yeah. And this thing where he seems to really feel like Bakuda failed me, therefore she does deserve to die, is just an interesting worldview that, I wouldn't have necessarily assumed he had.
Yeah. It's sort of an interesting... His reasoning is very practical and sort of based on this prison logic, gang logic, previous experience. And it is kind of well, I only have a few options, so I might as he's just once he's decided
he's almost maximizing this. He could kill anyone. He could kill someone random Yeah. But no, he's decided, like, this will make me feel extra insane. And also, I want to kill her because she failed me.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be more complicated than that. Like, one of the thematic things I was getting out of that final confrontation, right, is like, Bakuda is the type of character who's more like Taylor or Tattletale even, sort of like, she has strategy, she has contingencies, right? She's bargaining with him like, okay, but, you know, like, but I've set it up so that if you kill me, I'll kill you. And he's just like a lot more simple than that, right? Like, basically he
doesn't Tangle himself.
Yeah, he's kind of like, okay, well, I'm just going to boil it down to, this is a contest of speed. And whoever's fastest wins. And I'm going to, you know, we're not going to stall. We're not going to delay.
Yeah.
I'm going to make this happen now. And we'll see. We'll just let the chips fall where they may.
There's also a possibility that it's not true that she wouldn't be fast enough, but he just has to say that to try to deter her. Like, even if that's not true, he should still say it. It's still...
Yeah. I guess it really feels like Lung is... He's calling the bluff on, like, contingency planning or, like, sort of consequentialism or whatever.
Right. He's
just like, actually, it doesn't really matter what the consequences are.
Immovable object. Yeah.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Irresistible force. Either one.
And that feels very much... I mean, the parallel I want to make, we can talk more about how stuff connects back to, like, the Tangle arc. But, like... It reminds me of the power struggle between Danny and Taylor in the last chapter, where Danny basically says, hey, we are going to have a face-off here, where it's a contest of wills. And
Taylor nopes out of there.
Grossly miscalculates, right? It's sort of like, I guess just something in the way you can create these moments of confrontation where it comes down to who's more powerful in whatever way. Yeah. And you kind of like starting the confrontation does not always mean winning or understanding the consequences.
Even setting the terms doesn't mean winning.
Confrontation, yeah.
I said that I would like to see Lung again, which is true. I mean, I feel like there's a loose thread there we could pull on. I think my preferred outcome would be that Lung dies in this and Bakuda lives.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's a much more interesting character. I mean, she's insane in a way that Lung is actually not. But
yeah.
I also just want to call out, I know we said Lung is a bad guy, so probably this goes without saying, but, like, she failed him, but, like, he failed her also. Like, he failed her really badly. Like, way to not take accountability, dude.
Yeah. He could have killed Taylor so easily. Like... He
got beaten twice by a little girl, as Bakuda said. You know, he's like couching this as a very clinical thing where he has to kill her, but like, I wonder how much it's just like his pride was hurt by Bakuda pointing that out.
I mean, 100%. 100%. Yeah. Right, being in his head. Well, and being in his head, it wasn't like a super strong...
It's not a close third. It's pretty distant.
I did like... It seems like getting pissed off does fuel Lung's power. Because Bakuda's like intentionally taunting him. She calls him a eunuch to get him pissed off enough to superheat the metal that she uses. And I also like... Bakuda doesn't have her gas mask anymore. So we learn she's got a Boston accent. Presumably the reason why she wears the gas mask.
That would make sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, if Canary were anyone else, like in our world or something, she would have the possibility for appeal. The fact that they sent her, like, even if she were on death row, she'd have the possibility for appeal. The fact that they sentenced her and then she immediately was put in the birdcage and there wasn't even a chance for appeal is like a gross miscarriage of justice.
Absolutely.
It's the kind of thing that you should only do for, like, extremely severe, dangerous criminal cases, but, like, because that's a very subjective judgment, you get people like this judge who's like, oh yeah, you told your ex-boyfriend to go fuck himself and didn't realize your power was on, so he did it. You are the worst criminal ever. Like, that's, like, what? Like, the fact that one person had the ability to make that judgment based on his own prejudices, his own agenda, without the possibility for appeal is wild.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually awful.
Yeah.
And I imagine we're seeing a little bit of this because we're, like, it's probably, like, thematic foreshadowing things that are going to happen to Taylor and co. But, like, I hope we're seeing it because we're going to blow this whole thing wide open in this book.
Yeah, I mean, probably a discussion for another time unless you have specific predictions. But I would be curious... Getting into that, it feels like a society-wide level that's kind of beyond just like who's calling the shots in Brockton Bay. Yeah,
but also it does seem to be really focusing on who's calling the shots in Brockton Bay.
Well, I mean, who knows? Speaking of, we learn a little bit, the cape names for this chapter, other than Canary, were the cell block leaders for the most part.
Yes, that's right.
One of whom is from Brockton Bay.
Oh, right. But we don't learn who that is, I don't think. Or is that Marquis?
It's Marquis.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I guess there are a couple of other just little parallels. We reach the end of an arc, right?
Yeah.
This is the arc where Taylor starts descending into the darkness.
That's
and
true.
by the end, she's left home.
Canary descends
Right.
into the darkness in this interlude. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so this is really... Canary, I feel like, is a cautionary tale for Taylor.
Yes.
Right? We're sort of like, oh, hey, a rogue? Taylor could be that. Taylor should be that. She should make clothes for people. And then sort of like the fact that straight to the birdcage is possible, right? The stakes are so high. Imagine if Taylor had gone carry with her power. Imagine if she had gotten caught, like, really hurting Madison with bee stings.
Be like, well, you are a child and it's your first strike, but we're going to ignore those things because we feel like
That's an aggravated assault with a parahuman ability. Yeah. Like, you know, where can you put Taylor that doesn't have any dangerous bugs? It's probably not quite as dangerous as Canary's power, but still... Yeah, very cautionary tale. Very much like, Taylor, when you're said in the last chapter, you're not worried about going to jail. Are you sure? Are you sure? How often has this happened?
So we know this mountain is pretty big.
Yeah.
It probably does have some sort of, like, psychic shielding or whatever on it. But, like, does it have, like, bug zappers?
Bugs versus drones.
Do you
That's
think?
exciting.
Yeah. Do you think her range could get big enough that she could summon bugs from inside the mountain? No, I don't think she's going to end up in the mountain because we're in her head mostly, and we want to see the break-in. We don't want to see.
We want the Mission
inside
Impossible.
Yeah. I do think someone else is going to end up in the mountain. Can't be Tattletale because Tattletale has to help them figure out how to break in.
Absolutely. I agree. 100%. The theme of...
I think it's going to be Alec. I think Alec will be taken. No, because he has the father. His father would pull strings for him.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure Bitch. Bitch is going to get taken into the birdcage. And this is going to be a test of their allegiance to her because they've been so
This is a beautiful...
problematic.
This is a beautiful story you're spinning. Who's the one person that Taylor would break into the birdcage for?
Well, I think bitch because she would be the least useful in breaking in.
Yeah.
I mean, her and Alec kind of tied, but I think Alec wouldn't get sent to the birdcage because he has friends in high places, or at least parents in high places. But bitch, I feel like, would be such a fun discussion of do we break in and get her out, because I think there'd be voices in dissent.
Yeah.
But I think they would do it anyway.
Yeah.
And I think Taylor would absolutely be a voice in favor of breaking in and getting her out. Because she's a hero and she doesn't leave people behind.
Yeah. Could be good.
Yeah.
Could be very good.
You're smiling. I hope it's because I'm completely correct.
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, we'll see.
They have to break her out. There are no dogs in the birdcage.
Oh my god.
She can't live without dogs.
Oh my god.
She can't. She would die.
Yeah.
They have to save her.
Yeah. Or get a bunch of dogs arrested. No, that's worse. That's worse.
Okay, you'd have to get para canine dogs arrested.
Paracanines.
They'd be sent to the kennel, not the birdcage.
Paracanines is like what Bluey is in this world, right? Like,
I don't actually know anything about Bluey.
Show. No, it's about dogs.
Okay.
you don't know Bluey the dog?
I mean, all I know is that it's like a show. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, Bluey's a dog.
We'll start watching with Violet someday.
Yeah, she is still too young, but soon enough. A couple other quick things. Bakuda using her teeth and just getting so physical was so Taylor, right? We've seen Taylor throw herself
full
into
body
things physically.
On the line. Yeah.
Like, just basically being like, pain doesn't matter because I have a strategy. Like, they really do think alike in some ways, or just are willing to go the distance in some ways.
Yeah.
And I felt like we got a level of like absolute powerlessness with Canary that was so upsetting, both in the courtroom scene and in the van where she's like completely restrained, which reminds me a lot of Taylor being locked in to her kitchen. Of course, obviously taken up to 11. And then we have a little thing here at the end with the parahuman rule theme emerging. We had Coyle being like, I will rule Brockton Bay myself. And in the Birdcage, we already do kind of have, these different cell blocks with different, the sort of inmates running the asylum thing of like, well, we just kind of have to let them do what they're going to do. And we don't see a lot of what Birdcage society is like, but it is an interesting theme to pick on.
I think by naming the cell blocks after letters, but not using the International Phonetic Alphabet, they really missed the opportunity for, if the birdcage is big enough, to have cell block tango.
Well said.
Thank you.
All right, well, 1 arc down.
6 arcs down.
1 other arc down. Great point.
Arc 7.
We're getting into arc 7. So, do you want an arc name, a sentence, or a cape name?
Give me the arc name first.
Buzz.
Ooh, this really sounds like there's going to be like publicity happening, that it's going to be like a very public opinion focused.
Okay.
Or like rumor focused.
Interesting.
Arc. So this is the arc where Taylor has decided to become an Undersider for reals. And the Undersiders have to decide what they're going to do about Coil's proposal.
Yeah.
Do they join the coalition? And I think that they will, because I think that's sort of the most promising story path forward.
Yeah.
And I assume they're going to have to fight Empire 88.
Okay.
That's sort of the next thing. I do think the heroes are down and out enough that they're not going to immediately be on the scene. But we are expecting a new leader of the local protectorate chapter to appear.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be a woman, and I think she's going to roll into town in this arc.
Very exciting. A lot to buzz about.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear a cape name?
Yes.
Hijack.
That sounds like someone they could have used on that van ride from Boston to British Columbia. Hijack. Can take control of vehicles.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of like with their mind.
Very cool.
Maybe, just vehicles. Any machinery? I guess with Taylor, it's sort of a thematic bug thing. It's not like based on a factor of biology.
Yeah.
It would be pretty cool if they could take control of any machine, within a certain range.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, of a concentration-based power. You can't control everything the way, Alec can't control all people at the same time.
Yeah. And just to get into some specifics, the first sentence of Arc 7 is, Brian was quicker than a guy his height.
Had any right to be.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, let's see. Are they going to do... I think they're going to be doing hand-to-hand combat training again.
Fun.
Yeah.
It's been a few arcs.
Yeah, and they're going to discuss what to do about Coil.
Yeah, that sounds like a great chapter.
Yeah,
Can't wait to read it.
Next time.
On Inchworm. Worm is a web serial by J.C. McCrae. You can read Worm at parahumans.wordpress.com and support the author at patreon.com/wildbow. Follow us on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Inchworm Podcast, or find our Discord link and any other updates on inchwormpodcast.com.